my good friend Abel.
Hi
Abel,
there.
you've been involved in RISC-V for a while, or
My background is actually computer graphics.
Mhm.
I started as a software engineer developing game engines, and well, at the beginning of my career, I also got some jobs on embedded systems. And yeah, when you combine computer graphics with embedded systems, you end up doing embedded graphics. And yeah, my career path is when rather towards hardware rather than software. And I've been working for different GPU and silicon vendors since 2009. So yeah, my first job in the silicon industry was for a company in the UK called Imagination Technologies, and I developed drivers for them. And since then, I've been uh, like consistently working on different GPU projects for different vendors. And yeah, well, I discovered the RISC-V just accidentally at work because I started working for Esperanto Technologies in 2018, and yeah, we had this idea that a GPU based on RISC-V was needed. But yeah, the company at the same time was very successful and found a lot of traction on machine learning, and the focus of the company changed, and so I did because one of them was matrix multiply, which are for machine learning. Uh, you possibly need very big matrices and very specialized data types. And for graphics, you use just very small matrices, like just 4x4. And yeah, we have several proposals that can fit both purposes.
yeah?
One is mine, and there are a bunch of them. There are like a level is 4, and so this group is going to be created, and it's going to be depending on the vector special interest group.
Yeah.
And it's going to well, it's going to be the first activity of the vector C, which is yet another group.
So
that RISC-V
there is
creating.
a group. There's already a group called Vector.
Yeah, yeah, there's
And then you came up with a proposal. We're gonna create a graphics.
exactly
group.
graphics request that
Yeah.
this is in graphics says this is important for us. Machine learning says the same, and then we go to the vector people and we say, hey, could you please do this thing, and it's placed under their organization.
Okay.
So and yeah, the next thing we have to look at is like, for example, during the summit, I've been talking to different people, and they have different requirements. Like for example, yeah, we have to look at support of libraries for different platforms, and yes, some of them are related to graphics. And yeah, the next stage, the next stage is going to be looking at these needs that people are bringing to the group.
Yeah.
Like, well, I can give you a bit of advance. There is a bit of work to be done for Android to be better supported in terms of graphics. And yeah, one of the possibilities is creating some specialized implementation of the SKIA library. So that's possibly going to be important. So yeah, we are collecting this kind of requirements for the next season of the group.
Okay.
And yeah, we also have these things that have to be discussed, like a work group for texturing, and yeah, I guess those two things, software support and texturing, are very important.
Okay.
And yeah, there are other things to look at that we've been looking at in the previous year, and they need to be followed up. Like for example, better support for RISC-V on the MISA library for the LLVM pipe backend. So yeah, we need to look at that, and there is a set of patches that have been in review for a while, and yeah, we need to do some testing of those patches and help the open source developers are putting their time into this effort. And being sure that whatever is easy for the group to do, for them to succeed on what they are doing is in place. Yeah, in terms of reviewing the code, testing, fixing whatever bits we can within the group, I think that's going to be important also.
But for this to work, obviously you need a lot of participation from the community, from the members in RISC-V.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
correct.
and so you need a lot of them to volunteer, and they're interested also in graphics. Are there enough people? I know you're interested in your friend, and you spoke for other people, but are there enough interest from the community saying and actually understand the graphics? I don't know much about graphics. I'm more in financial markets, but I'm interested to learn. But how could people that don't have the same level of experience as you do, you work in the industry, in graphics, but how could someone else who hasn't got that experience, how can they contribute? How can they help out in the group?
Yeah, well, the most basic thing you can do is reading the documents that they are being produced and that the work in progress folder of our group, and yeah, make comments on that, clarifications and writing style suggestions. That's relatively
That's also
easy
helpful.
for
So it's not someone that
people to
needs to
start.
be an expert in graphics or anything like that. It's not like a prerequisite for you to know about graphics to join the group or anything like that. Anyone can join.
Exactly.
They can help in different areas, even writing,
Exactly.
posting, PR, whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah, PR, we don't know
you
that
don't
much,
do- okay.
but yeah, reviewing documents absolutely is something that anyone with an engineering background can start doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you want to learn a little bit more about graphics, yeah, you could ask me for something to debug. So we look at some of the software issues that we know that are happening on the RISC-V platforms, and we can give you some random stuff for you to look at. It could be a bug, it could be like
So this is general
a
code
feature.
that any developer can look at.
Yeah.
So you're looking at what C libraries and stuff like that. Or?
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
it's mostly software work. That's why the group is under the apps and tools group within the software organization. So yeah, I think that there are small tasks for people to start building up a bit of expertise and growing from there. It's like typically when you start learning a new thing, at least myself, I like to take like a very small task um, where I have very few dependencies from other people and grow from there. So you don't need the full picture for starting producing value on most of the projects. And I think there are at least a couple of tasks that people could just take immediately.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess it depends on the interest of people. So some people are more interested in in software or other hardware.
ISA, you make great sections.
Exactly.
What we really want to know is like, okay, someone who who's never heard of RISC-V before, someone who's heard about it, but they don't have a lot of knowledge about it, and we're at the very start of this revolution right now. I mean, RISC-V is going to be huge. A couple more years, and it could dominate. And there's already you can walk through. Yeah, I'm not using the camera. I was like, stop. I'm gonna edit. Put the camera there. People think I'm recording this way and that way.
Pointing to the ceiling.
Yeah, fun. No, so what was I saying now? I forgot now.
This starting.
Yeah, they're starting out for the very first time. Okay, maybe they're interested in becoming, like a student and is interested in going into games as a games developer. He has to know about RISC-V because RISC-V is going to be, a dominant force in the processor market, open standard. Where should they start? I mean, what do they do first? They're a student or they've just graduated from computer science and they've never heard of this before. And in computer science departments, they don't talk about the hardware. They don't teach them Verilog and all that stuff. They don't go that deep to that level. So it's more.
Yeah, well, actually,
How could they? What would you recommend?
yeah,
Starting point.
I heard recently a talk from this guy called Andrei Karpathy, who is or Karpathy, Andrei Karpathy. He's he used to be the head of development at Tesla. And this guy is a PhD, and he's got a clear idea of what people should do for learning something. So he's got this theory that it really doesn't matter that much what you pick as a subject for work or for studying. What it matters is whether you spend or not at the very least 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
There is this theory that an expert requires
10,000 hours. Yeah.
Exactly. So his theory is like you should pick something that you enjoy relatively, so you can make a habit and a personal commitment to do this thing, and it is more of psychological exercise during the process for staying being constant and doing the time that is needed than about picking the right initial task.
Okay.
So whatever helps you to stay committed to spend the time, that's the best task.
Yeah.
So and it depends on the individual. So typically when people ask me, I reciprocate by asking back questions or finding out what would make them like the most successful in the task. So yeah, I'm sorry that's a very
No, it's a good
not concrete
answer.
answer, but it's a reality.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. Just start anyway, just jump in. And I've been in a lot of roles where they didn't give you any introduction or it's just like, here's your desk, go to work.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a Kanban board, and there's tasks, pick something and work on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
Go
that's
to
it.
Jira, like
Jira,
that's
Jira.
exactly.
And that's it, just pick a task and work on it, and that's it.
Exactly.
And reports every couple of days. There's a meeting, you report, or every day actually.
Yeah.
Every day they just have a meeting in the morning. Also, what you worked yesterday, what are the blockers, and go through the agile process.
Exactly.
So yeah, and you're just a junior and you're just learning and you're still setting up, and already you're involved.
Yeah.
And you have to figure out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's it.
Sometimes people can't handle that. There's too much stress. I don't know anything. Why you expect me to just work on something? You don't know anything. But they expect you to start asking people questions. Where do I get this? How do I get that started? What software I need? Because you're a junior, you don't know anything yet. You don't know. So you just ask them questions. And then some companies they have a structure. Like they say to you, okay, this is your onboarding, and you have to read this document, and you have to do some video tutorial, or you go through someone like a body system, someone who be your like your mentor for the first couple of weeks, and they will give you some structure. So yeah, there's different approaches. I like, I jumped into RISC-V, just randomly tried different things. But I don't feel confident because I feel there's a lot of gaps in my knowledge, and what I would have liked is like some structure, like okay, this is the introduction, this is the first video, first chapter. I know there's books, and I now discovered there's books on hardware architecture and that kind of stuff. There's one called Computer Organization. It's very
A quantitative approach, maybe.
Yeah, there's one that kind of talks about the computer architecture and it introduces RISC-V and that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff coming out, and RISC-V just spoke about they're coming out with modules, training, and we're standing here. I don't know, you can't really see it, but this is like by Linux Foundation. They've got certification courses. So I'm going to try to get on that as well. They just launched it, so definitely. I don't know. So there's a lot of stuff going on, but yeah, I understand your approach, jumping in the deep end.
Exactly.
So you just need the passion and the desire to learn the subject. I think that's great advice. You know, that's good advice too.
Yeah, and a
That's the
small task.
motivation.
A small task that you can commit to.
Yeah, I've done that on GitHub. You know, just I've got different accounts on GitHub. I should say, but I got accounts under different, and I've got one general one, and the ones that I want to just get involved in learning and that kind of stuff. I just use those accounts and commit. You know. And the same thing, I just do basic, like simple thing. I don't know much about this code, so I just try a very simple change and then do a pull request and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's a very good
Yeah,
exercise.
it's a very simple thing, just to get involved in that community, in that project.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Once I'm a bit confident, I go through my own accounts. I know already I'm an expert. Yeah. So it's interesting what you said, and I don't want to take too much of your time. But is there any more valuable advice you want to give, or anything else to anyone? Just any general advice, or anything we need to add?
Yeah, we just add that there is a RISC-V website. If you click on the upper right corner, there is this section of working groups portal, and people could join there and look at the available. Do
they have to be a member in RISC-V? They have to sign a contract. I signed an individual contract to become a member, and I became a member. And they have I've seen they have like membership for charities and academia and industry as well, companies. They have different levels. So it's a prerequisite. They have to first apply to become a member, and then they can access to the mailing list, right?
Correct. Yeah, you have to be. Yeah, you become a member, then you can start participating on the groups. So do the membership thing, because it doesn't cost you money. So if you are an individual member, it's for free. If you work for a company, your company pays, so it doesn't cost you money either. So it's not going to cost you anything but a bit of time and.
Okay, does that mean that if the company becomes a member, then all their employees automatically can participate and join?
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, last time I read the terms.
They have to all individual. That's interesting to know. If the company has 1,000 employees, they just one company joins, and then that covers everyone.
Yeah. Well, the membership fees.
It's not your area,
but the membership fees is something you can look at on the website. Yeah. Last time I looked at it, you didn't pay different fees depending on the size of the company. So if a company has 1,000 employees, I think it pays the same as a small one, and it's not a huge amount. It's such a small amount that even a small company can pay. And there are some discounts for startups.
Okay, I need to look into that as well.
Yeah, so if your company is relatively new, you could possibly apply for a discount. And once you're a member, all your employees can
cover it. They don't need to sign a contract each.
Exactly. So the only thing you have to do is when an employee joins the portals, they have to specify that they work for this or that company, and the admins just take care of giving access to everything.
So, in the community-wise, for public is there like public meetups and stuff in Spain? We're in Barcelona. So do you have like these meetup groups as well?
Not
like this summit is a big summit, but there are smaller groups that you meet up, or is it all done online?
It's mostly done online. I don't know of any physical face-to-face meetings other than the summits. But yeah, you know, if people is willing to take part and organize, that's one
I think
way in
that's
which
good, you know, they come
we can get
together. And
involved. Yeah.
there's a lot of energy in this summit. There's so many people in one place, and they're all got the same vision, the same belief, and they're all working for the same cause.
Yeah.
You know, I feel the positive vibe in this by meeting up. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to see RISC-V all over the world. I mean, right now it's like certain countries are taking initiative and pushing forward. Like, you know, we heard from China, you know, they've got initiatives to support students and promoting in academia and so on. We heard from you know, even Barcelona in Spain, and we heard from Europe. The EU is doing a push. I mean, and the US, of course, but that's where it's all started.
Yeah.
You know, so it's amazing, but we need the rest of the world to participate. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm all for it. So
yeah,
the more the better.
yeah. So how does someone from, like, do they have to be in like Europe and the US to join, or is it
No, there is a
they're open for everyone? So anyone from anywhere in the world can just join, and then if they build a big enough community, then they can one day have a summit like this. Maybe in Africa, you know, like they can have an Africa summit. You know, Africa.
yeah, well, yeah, I don't know the mechanics of
Yeah.
organizing a summit. At the moment, from what I know, there are just three, like
Yeah.
Europe,
US.
US,
The
and
international
Asia.
one, the one.
But yeah, it's I think that's beyond my pay grade. I can tell you. So
It's all right. No, your guess is better, as good as mine.
Yep.
I'm the same. I'm new to this whole thing, and I want to take a more proactive role, and that's why I'm doing these videos so I can, you know, learn myself and also share the knowledge straight away. You know, so people can see through my imperfections, and I'm not perfect, so they can see, oh, this guy's not perfect, doesn't know anything, and he's still talking. But I just give the very little that I know. And I want to get people like you, who are experts in, you know, like graphics and certain areas, and like put you in front and you share your experience. But you're full of wisdom. I mean, you're like a
thank
treasure.
you, man. I'm humbled by your words.
Yeah.
I don't think I deserve it. I really
No, you
appreciate it.
truly deserve it. I mean, what you guys are doing are great. Everyone that's involved in open source and sharing knowledge and just pushing that boundary of knowledge are doing an amazing thing. I mean, they're like angels walking the earth, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
like, I don't like people that are very closed, you know. And even I've worked for organizations that are closed. They have like trade secrets or technology, and they don't share it. And when I told them, like, hey, you know, we need to teach this to academia, you know, maybe give a talk at a university, because this sort of thing, they don't teach these technologies, and they just say no, it's private. Especially in the financial sector, they're very private about the technology that they use. They don't promote it. I mean, you have some companies like Bloomberg. They have programs where they try to you know, teach students at university about the Bloomberg terminal, because that's what they want to push into the industry. They want everyone, when they work somewhere, they want to say, oh, we're at Bloomberg terminal, so they can trade. But in other parts of it, like software and other areas, it's like secret. There's no open source. You know, there was one company, I don't want to mention any names, but there's one company that tried to create an open source system that's actually licensed for millions of pounds a year. You know, in the financial sector, you know, banks are paying like millions of pounds in license fees to use this. And there was a company that tried to set up, and then they just went quiet. I don't know. They got approached, and, you know, they got headhunted and stuff like that, and eventually got a job, and they just said, oh, you know, I'll go for the money instead of pushing the project forward, because there wasn't any money, and they couldn't see a way they could monetize it. It was even free. And they created like a GitHub you know, repository, and they're trying to get people to participate. So yeah, there was all this stuff, and I think it's good to do something, not for financial gain, but for society, you know, for the growth of society. I mean, maybe have someone out there could learn something, and then that could potentially give them a job, you know, can get them out of poverty, you know, give them an opportunity in life.
But yeah, at the same time, you have to think that people have to earn
Yeah,
their living.
yeah.
So you know, I'm not for open source.
100%. Oh, you're not for
No, I'm not for open source just because I think it's good for the world. I think it's a good a business model for some people. So it's not.
I mean, open source, it's not 100% free. They do make money from certifications, you know, membership fees, different things, consultancy. There are some companies that they do open source projects and everything, but then when someone adopts it, like a company adopts it, and they need training, so they pay for like a consultancy or a fee.
Yeah,
you know, like
exactly.
Linux, Red Hat. Linux is free, it's open source, but Red Hat they charge a fee. But that comes with like there's support, you know, first line support, that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So they provide extra level of security, and if there's any issue, they'll fix it.
Yeah.
You can take a contractor or something and pay a daily rate. So the companies that need that extra, you know, assurance, and then Red Hat makes money.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
how Linux makes money.
So yeah, yeah, exactly. It's not about doing things for the world. It's about doing things for yourself with a business model that is a trade-off between collaboration and competition.
Yeah.
So somewhere in between, giving everything away and not giving anything unless you get money for it. Something in between.
Something
is
like
possibly giving you
the
maximum. The maximum advantage.
It's like you just basically 80% you're working, you're generating revenue for yourself, and then 20% you say, I'm going to give that my time to teach others. I'm not going to ask them for money. I'm just going to share that knowledge.
Exactly.
You know, I'm going to give a talk at university. The university might not pay you anything, but you know, but the students would learn and you motivate people. So you're giving some of your time. So you're doing charity with your time, your expertise. In that. So that's also good.
Exactly, but you don't give away everything. There has to be something small that is what makes you to earn your living.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit similar, like to the problem of finding the optimal pricing point for a product.
Okay.
So if you give it for free, everyone will buy it, right?
Of course, yeah, everyone will take it. They want to appreciate it.
Exactly. And if you charge $1 million for something that something very small, then no one will buy it, right?
Yeah.
So something between 0 and 1 million, there is a point which makes you the most money.
Yeah.
And it's neither 1 million or 0.
Yeah.
So
I mean, me personally, what I do is I do commercial work, like I do contracting work with banks and stuff like that. But then I'm not doing charity. I'm saying this is my daily rate, or this is what I charge, and I negotiate. And I always try to negotiate higher, not lower.
Yeah,
and I try to always get the most for the project, depending on how long it is, and you know what I'm going to gain as well. So I look at all aspects, and whether it's remote or hybrid, or you know, I have to be on site, I have to do a lot of traveling. So I look into that before I give them a quote, how much it costs. But for like a charity or something, or I get approached where someone says to me, I need help, or could you help us with this? I don't think what's in it for me. I don't think, oh, how am I going to earn money out of this? If I help these people now, how can I use them in some way? I don't think like that. I think, no, I'm doing it, you know, for the sake of God. You know, I'm just doing it for, you know, to help these people out in this situation. I'm not, in the back of my mind, I'm not thinking. Same thing with this channel. I'm also, eventually I'll monetize it. But if any revenue is generated, I will contribute it to people that are in extreme poverty, people that don't have a choice. Even if they want to work, there's nowhere to go.
I mark your words, Sammy.
Huh?
I mark your words.
No, that's what. So we should care about the people that are being forgotten. So people sometimes you forget people in society, and you just focus on making money, cars, and that's why I can't. You know, I like a lot of people online. They talk about money and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But
they always show people, oh, I've got this Bugatti, I've got Ferrari, and it's all about materialism. That's what they're promoting. And I think there needs to be people out there that succeed in life, succeed in business, create a business, and make profit. But also in the back of the mind, you have to say, I want to be successful, and I want to make a lot of money, so I can actually help a lot of people and also drive a lot of these projects, even like contribute to this, creating events and stuff like that, teach people about something. You need money to do that. You need money to have an event as big as this. So that kind of thing, thinking in how can I pay it forward for the next generation.
I have a challenge for you.
Go ahead.
So I challenge you to
I failed.
to portray on your channel people who make money with open source. Because for me that's incredibly difficult. So people who really find the optimal equilibrium between
there isn't any.
collaborating and
That's
competing.
why I told you there was people. I don't want to mention names or anything, but I don't know what happened to them. And they had good idea because I understood as soon as they created this project, I said, "Oh, that's a good idea because there's nothing like that." And at least this is open source and anyone's got access to this information. And I actually contacted them, the founders, and they were giving me like introduction on how it works and that kind of stuff. And it was all good, but then suddenly they just vanished. They stopped contributing, they stopped communicating. I don't know what happened to them. Did they start work and employment? They started, they need money, right? So they must have gone to work and they forgot about it. So there were some good projects on GitHub, and there was a lot of, and then suddenly it just went dry. Stopped progressing. More updates, that kind of stuff. When you contact the developers, they don't reply back. I don't know if they passed away or they're missing work. I understand sustain the commitment. So sometimes you have a great idea, like your friend, you said about he had the vision. Maybe he hasn't got the experience as you, but he had the vision, but it wouldn't have gone anywhere without you. He would have just had it as a dream.
But it's a double way path, right? I may not have done anything without the motivation for working with a team. So it's this thing.
That's why we all have a mission. We all have a purpose in life. That's how I see it. I mean, I might be good at something, but I'm terrible in graphics. I have no idea. You put me in graphics, I will probably fail. They will fire me straight away. So I might be good at something, but I'm weak at something. But you're good at graphics. You might not know much about financial markets or because I spent years in that. So we are creative and we complete each other.
Yeah.
So I help you in something, and then you will help in something else, and someone else will help someone, and it's like pay it forward. And that's the way we should operate. We should all combine, unite, irrespective of our differences. Doesn't matter where we're from or anything, we believe or don't believe in anything. We should just work together to make the world a better place for everybody. And everybody will benefit. Not like I look at, he's succeeding, I want to pull him down and focus on how to destroy him. But there are people like that, they see you, and I've seen that a lot when because I'm thinking with an open heart. I'm thinking, I succeeded in something, I want to tell people about it, you could be successful as well. But in there, I can see from them, they're not happy. They pretend as if there's money, but deep down they're thinking, he's lucky. I envy you. No, don't envy me. Don't look at me and say, I'm lucky. I want you to be lucky. I want you to be better than me. And I'll tell you all the mistakes I did so that you can save 10 years of failure before. So you can skip all the mistakes and maybe make different mistakes, but you save the time. So that's the way we should be thinking. Not like think, okay, it took me 10 years to get this. I made all these mistakes. Let him suffer. 10 years.
Yeah.
You should tell. Actually, I'll give you a short time.
Yeah.
So the next generation will tell them. Avoid these mistakes. I did these mistakes when I was younger, and I lost all these years. Had I started, I would have been much better. So you save this, and you start now. Successful. Like start now with RISC-V, going back to RISC-V. Start now learning about this from a young age. So you've got all these years to develop yourself and grow.